Okay. Hi. This is Nanette and Sarah. Say hi, Sarah. Hi,
Hi,
Sarah.
Sarah Kajawa.
My good friend Sarah. And we are, I have to put this out here because in the beginning, because Sarah is she runs the Facebook page Doing Grief Differently with Adam and Sarah, and it's a great page and it's very helpful if you're suffering through the grief of any kind of loss. Um, you want to feel more connected. We have, I know I'm gonna try not to say all day. We have been talking about doing a little chatter here back and forth and channeling on empaths. And the thing about empaths that we want to bring out is, it's a little scary at first, and it can be scary. And when you learn about the empathic journey, sometimes what you learn is scary. And you get it, scary. And so what I want to do is I want to help people get to the point of empowerment, you know, because this is a gift that if you empower yourself is so powerful. It's so amazing. And you say something now.
Yeah. Right. Well, this is perfect. Talking about scary, and here it is. Just Halloween's right around the corner, so it is very scary to open up. And if you're empathic, you can kind of reflect, and and the word empathy gets tossed around, of course, all the time. But you can look back at your childhood and see how you were empathic and how you handled it as a child. But now you're in a place in your journey, or your awakening, or your channeling, to use this as your superpower. Okay, instead
Absolutely.
of fearing it, instead of and it's really just, it's stepping into more of you, because we are here in kind of an upgrade. Year 2020 is kind of an upgrade to upgrade your understanding of your superpower, because a lot of people look at this as a deterrent or as something, I'm too empathic, I can't do that, I feel everybody's stuff and all that, just because you need to be more empowered with yourself. Right? So you can control it a little better and use it to your advantage. Just like all.
So I want to talk about different aspects of empathy, because so that people understand, or that they can recognize it in themselves. And I know I'm a very extremely empathic. So my examples may be extreme. But let's talk about if you walk into a room and you can feel kind of the mood there. There's that. Even if you have to walk up to the group of people first and you start to feel it and you kind of take it on. And what a lot of times being an empath makes you feel tied to people. Is that a good word? Tied to people. Kind of like you feel like you owe people. Pulled in, like you owe them something. You owe them explanations. You owe them your energy, your time. This is not true. This is another thing that we have to overcome as empaths. There are things you can do when you become, empowered in yourself to, what's the word I'm looking for?
To be able to discern?
Alchemize. Okay. Yeah, alchemize energy and stuff, but you have to be empowered before that. So there's that, or this may be extreme, but this happens to me. I can even just do this watching TV. If you see someone fall or something and you can feel that, and it's even fake on TV, and I'm like, oh, I won't watch anything horrible. I can't watch any of that because I feel it so much. If someone dies, it's over for me.
Me too. Me too. But I know that it didn't. Now, before Adam passed, it didn't bother me so much. But anything where I see there's a trauma, or someone's being, brutalized, or there's, gore, blood, I can't go there. And it's because I choose not to. It's not, I choose not to. That's all.
Because you get put, and so being empathic, and then also I'm very much an energy person. I think most empaths are very energy oriented, and I'm very practiced at all this. But if I'm watching the news and something comes up on the news, my energy just automatically follows it, because I do that. I've told you about that, right? Where I go ahead energetically. I do stuff like that all the time. So it's automatic for me. So if I'm watching the news and it's something horrible and my energy starts flowing toward it. So I don't watch the news. You know what I mean? Afraid of it. It's just that the thing about this is I don't want people to be afraid of it, but your energy is your gold. Your energy is your gold. Everything's energy. So your energy is your gold, and you protect it the way you want to protect it, right?
Sure, because they're exchanging with you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So when empaths learn to do this stuff, what's another example? I don't want to go on yet.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have another example?
So a lot of times, I mean, starting the awakening is starting out, realizing you are empathic and you get pulled into you. A lot of traumas will come up. I want to call it traumas, but you'll see that many of your triggers will come up, you know, or you're in the fixing mode. That's a common one. So if you were a fixer growing up, you know, that you can see you're probably empathic, because you're wanting to like neutralize and create peace and, you know, have everything out there external, you know, in a certain way. Okay. So you've put it on
you just
yourself.
reminded me of something. Were you done with that thought?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you just remind me of something. And it's like when I've lived with people in the past, before I had this under control, I didn't know how to express this, but I would say, your energy is assaulting me. You don't understand. And people don't understand the level to which their energy assaults an empath when they don't have when they haven't empowered themselves yet. It's like being beat up on a daily basis when someone's energy is angry and wild, and so that's another thing. If you're living with someone and you're feeling like their energy is just beating on you, then you're an empath. You're an empath.
That's true. So you're talking about alchemizing it and changing it to the realizing that they're no better. You know, their wording and their energy may feel like they're, you know, they're puffing out their ego or whatever, but you know, we're all aspects of God. So you've got to feel good about you, so you can understand it and utilize it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But the first step, I think the first step when you are beginning on this journey of getting your own power, right? Empowering yourself, is to learn to let go of other people's energies. And you said that yesterday. I wrote it down.
Yeah, letting go of the attachment of them, because that's back to that fixer mode too. Right?
Yeah, you said that too.
Yeah, we're wanting to control. You can't fix someone else, right? So we're attaching, if you want to call it, like in Reiki, we would call it cord attachments to outcomes of other things, external things. But then you realize, no. I am in charge of my aura and energy. So either I can absorb their stuff or I can project my good stuff out. You know, you have a choice all the time.
And everybody starts there. I just want to point this out. It's not just an empathic thing. Everybody feels like if they could just control it. And when you have children, you understand you can't control anyone.
They're great teachers, right?
There's no one you can control. But we all feel that way. If I could just control the people in my house, in my group, in my workplace, then my day will be better. And that's not the answer. The answer is always within. It's always empowering yourself. So go on with because then you went on to talk about the strength in our own vibration, protecting us from others. Go on with that.
Yeah. So holding your own vibration, first off, you know, your self-love, that whole process of understanding your triggers and what, you know, the people that irk you, and understanding what that reflection is. And then you still have a choice. Do you want to spend time with them or not? If you're in a good balanced place, you can handle them a lot better, right? Versus, oh, well, I'm going to go, but I'm only going to go to the party for like, I'm going to already set my intent that I'm only going to stay for 30 minutes just in case. So you've already, you know what I mean? You've prepared because you know that their energy is different than yours, or they might be a dominating energy. But then you can flip that, alchemize it, and say, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to have a good time. Doesn't mean I have to engage and get into their energy. How about if I go with the intent, I feel good about me, I'm going to project my energy out to change the room. Right?
Absolutely. And if you're not sure how to do that, another way to alchemize the energy is to just see the energy going through you and not grabbing a
Oh, and it's
hold of you as
sticking.
it
Yeah.
goes through. Yeah, not
Yeah. Yeah.
sticking. It
Yeah.
just goes through you. So you let it go through you and stop feeling any responsibility. That's the problem with empaths, because we do once we have our own empowerment, we do kind of have a responsibility. And that is individualized. I'm not going to put that out there as one thing. But until you can get there, you can't hold yourself responsible for anything. If you don't know what it is you want to do with your gift yet, if you don't know, and you don't even have to do anything, but you have to protect yourself or you're going to get sick, you're going to be tired, you're not any use to yourself, right?
Right. Because many of us are a habit of wanting to blend in with everything. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
we're blending in, and we see that in relationships all the time, so it's like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so you've got to really just pay attention, and it's all balance is a key, and there's all kinds of it's individual process, whether you've got to learn to it could be anything physical, from dry brushing, visualizing, detaching away,
Oh,
from
yeah.
taking a shower, nap, nature, whatever it is. It's kind of how many people that we know, and I know you and I have done this in our life. You come home from work, but you bring work home. That's the energy
Mm-hmm.
of work. You bring it home, and then you dump it on others. So you've got to cut it off. It's kind of
Cut the
like,
cord or
yeah,
let it go
it's,
through
it's
you
like a
or
sleepy,
however.
whiny 2-year-old. They can take a nap, they get a restart. It's kind of like that.
Oh, that works
Yeah.
for us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to do that because, it's and nobody's perfect even when you get to your own empowerment. I want to point that out because I don't want anyone to think, oh, you get to a point and
Yeah.
you're
It's not magic.
nobody's
Right.
perfect. Yeah, it's not magic, because some days things get to you. And when that happens, I have to go into a meditation or take a nap
Mhm.
and let it go, just
Let
like
it go.
anyone else. But empathy is a huge gift. It has allowed me to feel my way through life. If you know what I mean? If something's coming up, I can feel my way through it. Before I even get there, it's a huge thing. I can feel other people. People, they can lie to me all they want. I can tell. And it doesn't, the thing about it is I have no judgment about it. I'm like, okay, they want to lie about this. I'm not going to spend my time figuring out why they want to lie about it. I
Right.
just move on. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well, they
But
might be lying to themselves to begin with, so they don't even
exactly.
see. So
Yeah.
you can't go in there,
Yeah.
right?
Right. It's none of my business.
None of my
None of my,
business. That's
it's just like I always say, people will be like, do you know what they said about you? That's none of my business. Because you know what? They're saying that about me from their perception. So that talks about
right.
them,
It
not
talks about
me.
them. That's right.
Yeah.
It's all about their
So
own
it's,
stuff. That's a
mhm.
huge lesson right there.
It
Because
is huge. And
yeah, yeah. So part of my journey was authoritative people, being around authoritative people and feeling equal. That was part of my
mm-hmm.
journey, because I can see how I was pushed down being an empath growing up. You're pushed down.
And
You're pushed down.
a female empath. Yes,
And everything
I
was
know.
about, your career and your status and whatever. Age,
Mm-hmm.
right? Seniority, all that kind of stuff. And no, this is about feeling your way through life. We're all equal. We're all equal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so we can have, and being an empathic, we can tune into the energy of anything. Of course I do, with souls, if
Me
I
too.
talk in
Yeah.
spirit, or if someone tap into and I can feel it too. Sometimes I tap into the feeling in their body when they pass, what happened to them.
Yes.
I don't enjoy that, obviously, because my own son died, but we all can, but we want to use it to our advantage. So for every situation, to whatever empowers you and helps another too. And you can tap as far as the animals, trees, whatever, crystals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote that down in my own notes. Yes. That's the thing about being an empath. You can feel animals, you can feel the earth, you can do a lot of energetic work with that. And when you're a healer, you do the same thing. I don't know how you do it, but when I go and heal someone and I can feel what part of the body it's in, I don't necessarily feel all the pain. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I can feel that it's here or it's here. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But
I think Right. I try to keep it more general. Like if I'm doing a
Mhm.
session, I can say, let me look at your chakra, say, oh, what's going on here? Is you got something going on in your lower back or whatever? I don't need to know unless they want to share, because it might be something we can help heal by talking about it. Right. But, I don't need to go into the details of exactly what happened,
Right.
because that's really,
Right.
it's not my business,
Unless they make,
yeah.
absolutely.
And it's not for me to
But
take on, right? That just shows that we're not
mm-mm.
balanced if we're wanting to get into everyone else's business all the time. Because we have got our own
Absolutely.
stuff. We have our own
Oh,
stuff. We have our own
and
stuff.
enough of it, right?
And
Yes,
that is a sign of imbalance too. Like we've worked with people where they want to micromanage and everything at work, but they got their own stuff at home. They're just avoiding it because they can't control it. To control.
Yes. Yes, we talked about that. Like if I went through that with, if when I started really, really diving into my inner work and I wanted to clean my house, when my guy's like, is that really necessary right now?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you're like, yeah, of course. Is it really? Is it?
Right.
And I'm like,
It's
I guess not.
self-punishment.
But if my house is clean, then something in my life is in order. Okay. I'm on my knees all day crying. Can't my house be clean?
Right. And I would do it arguing with even, I had a few arguments even with Jesus. Well, it was one-sided. I'm the one arguing. But I was like, I'm just going to go on I'm just going to go clean the floors then. Or it was all punishment. It was all punishment. So it took me back to different things in my life because many of us were raised. You have to earn your way through life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know, and my guys really worked me out of that one. There's nothing you have to do. You're already perfect. And you hear this of,
we're taking the lint off. We collected everyone's lint.
But we went off track. I wanted to, since you brought that up, I wanted you to, because you do a lot more readings than I do. I'm not big on doing readings. I do teaching and retreats. I don't mind doing readings, but so let's talk to new or they don't have to be brand new, but mediums, empaths who are mediums and kind of what's the word? The boundaries that you should put in place with that to protect your energy, to learn how to not let your empathic abilities be taken advantage of. So
I mean, like when you're giving someone a session, is that what you mean?
Yeah, that kind of, just being a medium.
Yeah, just being a medium and just first have a deeper understanding of how the universe works, right? And that everything is working for us, not against us. So learning all those, that's all your innate knowing already. You're just pulling the lint off of it because of teaching and dogmas and different things. So once you feel like that, that universe, source, God, whatever you want to put on it, is always working for the highest and best for you. You can trust that process with the mediumship. But because of our schooling and upbringing, we think it has to be a certain way. Because we're used to structure. Everything has been structured in our whole life. And here you are in the service. So everything is like structured. This has to be done a certain way. But when it comes to mediumship, it's not like you pull out a book and you start with 1, 2, 3. You've got to feel good. So opening the meditation, self-care, the self-love, you got to be in a good place because that's your filter. That is your filter when you're reading. Right. So if you're going down a dark road and you think all that darkness is spooky and ugly and mean and aggressive, it will come through that way.
Yeah, I would take a break for that period of time. I think it's very good to take a break.
Because those are your beliefs. Those are your core beliefs of just not just the spirit world, but about yourself. Are you the type that's always looking? Are you the half
glasses half empty?
Yeah, which is I got a quarter left. Are you that type of personality? So kind of go in there and kind of really kind of like it's hard when it's your beliefs because you don't know anything different. Well, you don't know what you don't know. So you really got to get in there when you have a trigger or a thought or wanting control over the session, or you have an expectation. That's a big one when you're channeling. You have this expectation of how it's going to go, but that's where the trust and faith comes in and practice. You've got to know you. You've got to know you and then trust the process, because you are just the
Yeah.
messenger and the conduit.
Yeah, because I know how many times have I sat there channeling and I'm like, what? You want me to say what? And I'm an arguer. I argue with anyone I'm channeling with, and they're like, just say it. Okay. Did you do this today? Oh my God, how did you? I don't know. They just told me you did this today, you know? So yeah.
And everyone has that ability, but we're trying to use it to our advantage, not a control thing. And that's what
Yes.
this newer energies, because we all are telepathic. Naturally, we're telepathic. Okay, so that's why
I think empaths are highly energetically telepathic. Yes.
they're natural healers, you know,
Mhm.
and it's just getting in touch and utilizing to benefit you and to be able to be of service to others in any shape or form. Whether you're helping someone to balance their chakras, you're helping them to, you know, connect with their loved ones in spirit. It could be a million different ways to utilize it.
Yeah.
Or connecting with their pets, whatever. There's all different ways. You've got to figure out a process that you enjoy working on. Not that someone's telling you have to do it X, Y, Z.
Yeah, and a boundary, we have to learn to put boundaries in place. Go with that.
So
Let's
the
talk about that.
boundaries are a tough one. As you know, that's what I've been going through the past year, is boundaries too. Because it's like when our antennas go out, it's like you're a beacon of light. So people are going to come to you wanting to be fixed, thinking you're the fixer. Even though that's not your label you have, all right? Even though you want it, but you are helping them to alchemize and to be able to turn and understand a broader perspective, a broader understanding of what they're going through or what's happening in their life. You know, or this with the COVID, they're trying to grasp it. But if you're trying to grasp it from ground zero, you're not going to grasp it any other way.
And you know, the thing is that of course we want to help, you know, there's nothing we want to do more than to help others or to give our love to others. But the problem that we face a lot as empaths is the boundaries are stepped over, pushed back. People think it's okay to get out of you what they want out of you, and we have to put a boundary up, because if we are not respecting ourselves, how is anyone else going to respect us? And if we are not if I know the reasoning that comes, well, they really needed it. Well, you know what, you really need to have respect for yourself, and you really need to have space and to have other people respect your space. You know, there should always, and
there's a give and take with energy.
Yeah, and energy exchange should always be
always is important. So, you know,
whether it's money, if you don't have money,
that's a huge one with your abilities, is the money part. That's a huge one.
If you don't have money and you really need my help, well, what can you give back to me? That kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Energy
and it's
exchange,
not.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not a selfish thing. I'm like that. I do that, you know, and I don't feel bad about it, because it's for them too. Because if you come to me and get something from me for nothing, it's gonna pull at you a little bit. You're gonna feel it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of took advantage of her. You know, yeah. So
you just feel it because you're empathic already, so you already feel it. So you're gonna look. Why do I feel like I should step over her boundaries? You know, kind of look at that. Where is this pattern coming from? And it's a fine line, because everyone is only grasping and understanding from their vibration.
Absolutely.
So that is the journey. So it's all you can do. You can tell, or you can see even giving them, say you're giving them a message, say they're in dire straits, you give them a message, they still may not grasp it until they're ready to grasp it, because people hold on tight to everything external. In a certain way. And once you free up that space and kind of like just breathe, and then you'll get that deeper understanding or aha moment, or go, oh, that's oh, I see how it played out now. I couldn't see it when I was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are no accidents, there are no coincidences. Everything is happening for a bigger purpose.
Yes.
And
Yes, and you'll see, have you seen several mediums that they'll go on Facebook? This is just an example. And they'll do a live, right? And when they're done, their energy is so down, or they just feel like, well, what did that achieve? Because they do it to kind of advertise themselves, but people tend to just want to get what they can get and move on. And then they feel kind of like, Now, I'm not saying this is true across the board, because, there are people who feel a calling to do that, and that's fine. And they have done their inner work, and they are clear. They let the energy go through them, and that's fine. But we have to get ourselves to that place first.
yes, no.
And if that's what you want to do, then that's fine at that point. But there's just things like that. I mean, we've seen a lot of mediums that do that kind of thing. And they're like,
right. And then they burn out, and then they retreat. Matter of fact, I did a live one last night with a couple friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is, but if I can only do them, I know that's my boundary every 2-3 months. But yet, and same thing in the group. I was so excited to channel so much in the group, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm spending like 2 hours a day of my time,
Mm-hmm.
Of channeling to post in the group. And it's like, I got to back off because of my boundaries. I have to find my balance. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and respect myself and know what my needs are and meet my needs first
Yes.
and foremost. And then everything else kind of it just falls into place when you get to that point.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll do that.
Because I
Sure,
feel
I'll
like
do that.
Another part is there's always urgency or emergencies. Because like when you're opening up your abilities and things,
Mm-hmm.
because you have these expectations or understandings, or you're following someone's teachings of how it should be, and you're not fitting that mold, you kind of have to take a step back and go, wait a minute. It's an individual process, just like anything. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like you're going to college and you're getting, you're working on your bachelor's and you got it. Now you got a certificate. It's not like that. It's an ongoing process, and we evolve every day. But the urgency and emergency, that's been a big one for me the past few years, when I realized, obviously, I've had enough urgencies and emergencies in my own personal life. So I've got to step back and go, if it's urgent or an emergency, you call 911. That is my motto. Okay. Because as an empath, you can easily get pulled into their stuff.
And you also get to a point on this journey where you're like, nothing's really an emergency.
No, because most of the time, someone who has that urgency or emergency, they need to pause, reflect, take some deep breaths, and balance themselves.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, I feel better, or whatever. But that is really getting to know your energy. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's important to learn these different things. So I was just hoping we could help people with this, because I know there's a lot of empaths, and sometimes you look at different things and it's just scary. It's like, oh, well, this isn't going to change. Well, yes, it can change it, but it's always up to you. You are the one who empowers yourself. You are the one that changes the way the energy moves.
You're in charge of your own aura. So be that bright light and see the potential in everyone. Don't see the dire straits going on out there. See the potential. That's what makes a good healer. You see the potential. You don't drop into their crap. Excuse me. You don't drop into their stuff, right? You want to be the energy lifter, so they feel better being engaged. That hope. You never give up on hope.
Never, ever.
Miracles happen every second. Every second.
Yes, they do. And you know what? I've learned this personally. They happen because you allow them to happen, because you hold the vision, because you hold the hope.
And the vibration.
Yes.
That's right. That's all vibration. All those feelings are so like you said, this is all the new, more and more children are going to be choosing, or their souls are going to be choosing to be born empathic. Part is their journey, because this is part of the telepathic. More and more people are opening up to their abilities and being, instead of being pushed down like a thumbtack in their life. Yeah, that's the way the world's evolving. And that's why so many people are opening up, no matter, at what age, right?
Yes.
So it is, this is how we're going to create more peace on earth. It's everybody getting in tune with themselves. Instead of
What do you think, Adam? He keeps pulling my attention to that picture, so I think he had something to say. I'm like, what?
Well, he's talking about, like, even in his journey, in his life, that he was a natural healer. It's not like he didn't do shit in his life and cause grief for others, but that was part of his journey. But he was a natural healer. People gravitated to him because they were seeking, because he was that bright light. So they could be around him and have a good time, and he'd tell them everything is going to be all right. It's going to be chill. Everything's going to work out. He knew that without any teachings. That was just learning his own energy, that he was in control. He's the type that would walk into the restaurant, be beaming, and then, be a magnet, instead of the wallflower. But so that just shows what an old soul that he truly was, or is. And that
what an old man.
And that
I'm looking at you with wrinkles.
That we're all so gifted. And he said, and by you sharing about, he's talking about you sharing and being more open and doing these short videos to help other people to recognize their own abilities and see that this is an asset in their life. All those feelings that they have and all the hurt that they took on of other people, they need to be able to flip it and alchemize it and say, I'm an alchemist. These are my God-given abilities. This is why I chose this in my life. Not taking on my family's stuff.
And it's an amazing gift when you get here. You're like, oh my God, I can do so much with this gift. But until you learn to empower yourself, sometimes it kind of does push you down, and you're like,
yeah, you gotta harness it. You have to harness it, and like a wild horse, you got to figure out how to utilize it to your benefit.
He gave you that one, wild horse.
Bucky Bronco. And to know that because this is going to lead to opening up other abilities. So you see this as an aspect. How people, right? Because people, I just want to hear, or I just want to, see. It all comes together. So the whole journey is about feeling your way. Like Jesus is one of the better, most famous. Everyone knows Jesus as a famous healer. But he was strong in his power. He knew. He just knew. He saw the good in everything. And that's what made him, being empathic, he used it to his advantage.
Yes.
No?
Absolutely.
Because everyone wants to tell their sob story and da-da-da-da-da. But you got to flip it. You got to flip that switch.
And that's a journey and a lesson in itself. I mean, we can't fix that for anyone. We've all had to walk through the sob story and flip it, and it doesn't flip the first time. Not always. Yeah. So
because when you're in it, you're in it.
And if you need help with that, I like to put this out all the time. If you need help with that, if you need help on your journey, if you need help, then go find someone that does this kind of thing. I do this kind of thing. I don't know. Do you work with people? Yeah. So we work with people to help them through their journey. I know Sarah, so I know she's probably a lot like me, and we don't kind of put our own beliefs and truths on people. We just try to help them pull themselves into their own power, help them stand in their own power. And that's kind of important. So if you need a little guidance, then go get a little guidance. You got to pay for it, right? Because energy, you got to pay a little bit for it. But
anything that's gonna help you to move forward. Because there's fears. If you've got some fears and worries and concerns, because I have a lot of people who will reach out and say, oh, well, this happened or this happened. Well, that's your perspective on it. That's your understanding. That's how much light you're shedding on it. It's really, if something is dark, you got to put a flashlight on it and see what it is. You can't just run away from it. That's a gift waiting for you to receive.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything is a gift.
Yes.
Even white elephant gifts, they're gifts.
Even if someone takes it away from you, is that what you're
You
saying?
steal it from you. That's right.
Oh
Empty box. The empty box. That's right. An empty
Oh
beer
my
can. That's right. What else?
That's all you're getting, Adam.
Because everyone has the ability to feel through life. It's just how they've been programmed. So you have to like deprogram.
That's
A
so
lot of
funny. That's
people
on
don't want
here.
to
Feel
feel.
your way
Yeah.
through life. Feel your
So a
way.
lot of people
It-
have desensitized because they've been
Mhm.
hurt too many times, so they don't want to open themselves up to it. You know, so if you've had a relationship and you've been hurt, it's like, ooh, I don't ever want to like go out on a date again or whatever. You know, I mean, you've got to process that and understand it, that the root beliefs behind that, your core beliefs about yourself.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, and understand, why are you feeling this way? Why are you feeling betrayed? Where is this coming from? And then, you know, you got to build your energy up so you feel better about yourself. So you walk into a room and you're that light instead of the wallflower,
Absolutely.
you know? Or you could be a wall light. I'll just be a wall light. But no, so either you can absorb someone else's energy or you can project your good energy out. You have a choice. With every minute is a new choice. We manifested this life. We're manifesting the next breath, or we check out.
Yeah, you know what? And that's another good point. That's another way of looking at it, because I like to hit as many things as possible because everyone's different. Some people will see the energy going through them, but light takes away darkness, right? So if you shine your light, if you put your own energy out there, then the darkness cannot come into your light field, right?
Yeah.
That's a good
Yes.
way of looking.
Yeah, so you can look at it, do whatever kind of mental game that works for you, if you're visual or and just know. And you know when someone is barking at you in a relationship, or you know, even a work relationship or anything, they've got their own stuff. They're just projecting it out. They're like
Yes.
they're doing a dark light projector out because they don't know what to do with it. They haven't figured it out yet. They just haven't figured it out. So everyone's on a journey of trying to figure it out so you can have a more peaceful, beautiful journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are we, do you think we covered everything that we
I don't know.
wanted to cover?
We can always do another one if you get responses on.
We probably will. And I wanted to say, if people could just, did he say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, if people can put questions in the comments that we can approach
Yeah.
on the next one, and just say those who are really opening up using discernment. That's another one. We talked about that a little bit, but learning discernment, because when you hear something, sense something, or see something, because I teach, Reiki at the college. Well, not during COVID, but I normally teach Reiki to adults in at college.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people open up and they are medically can see energy and say, oh, you've got something going on over here. Did you have, maybe it's your appendix. See how we jump right to something versus saying, no, there's some energy over here. I'm not sure what it is. So you have to use your discernment. You can't just, you get that hit. And then a lot of times at the beginning, you want to run with it because you think that's it. Like you've got the golden ticket, right? Because you want to be right.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and it's not that important to be right. So maybe if you say it feels like it could be your appendix.
Yeah, and you don't want to scare them either. You don't want to scare them.
Yeah. But the thing about the appendix, it's a good big place where you get gas a lot. So it's not
sure. Yeah,
it doesn't mean explode.
Yeah, it doesn't mean the discernment would be, you don't know if it doesn't necessarily mean negative.
Yeah.
That'd be like going to the doctor and they do a physical and go, oh, something's wrong with your heart. Like they wouldn't say, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
That's just the medical end of it. But just saying, any type, you're reading someone's energy, you wouldn't say, oh, I see this dark, massive black cloud around you. You have to learn discernment with yourself and understand, is this of my own stuff that I'm projecting out to? Is this my business? Or maybe I need a deeper understanding. Maybe they've gone through just a grief or a loss recently, and that's what you're seeing. Doesn't mean they're impending death soon or something. But you see how we tend to jump on a lot of things because of our upbringing. So that's a lot to learn with your own energy too, when you're reading other people's energy. And that just takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. And that's ongoing forever because you just continue to learn more.
Yes, expansion. Expansion.
And
It's
then
a beautiful thing.
same thing, you just feel through it and you guide and you're always looking for the highest and best, just because, just like the universe, God source always is looking out for your highest and best. You've got to feel that, and in turn, you'll project that out to others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you send us some questions or responses for the next one, because I think this is important right now. And we hope that this helped
I hope so.
in some way.
I hope so. We just kind of rattled and went on, so I hope everyone enjoyed it.
I hope so too. I know, but we tend to do that. It's okay.
You and I could talk for 3 hours. Yeah.
Or more. Yes. I love you all.
I love you too. Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right. I'm going to every time. Oh, wait. What did I do? I know this. I'm leaving it in too. I'm just going to show who I am, right?